And hello and welcome back again, BTS4. My main man Luminous Inverse, the Luminator,
The
Luminoop,
Luminator.
Lumadoop, Loopadoop, Luminem. What else we got there? David Zhang.
Sure. I mean, I never got that kind of introduction before, but yes.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
doing it. And then I'm lyrical, but we're gonna be casting some games. We'll hop into it.
All right. Should be a very exciting one. We got Clutch Gamers versus Mineski. Clutch Gamers barely making it into the top 5. I will say barely is cutting close, but they are the only team that did take a game off of TNC. And as you know, TNC did directly qualify from the group stage. So Clutch Gamer to me is a team that did not have a good day 1 performance, but kind of salvaged it on day 2. And I think they are on the rise. Meanwhile, Mineski also had a couple of rough games in day 1. At point, Mushi looked like he's the best player ever. Also at point, he looked like he's the worst player ever. So what kind of Mushi are we going to get today? We shall see.
That's the big question, and I think the hero that he looked the best on was the Medusa in my eyes.
Yes,
that
for sure.
Medusa game was absolutely insane, and with a Lina already taken, seems unlikely we see it. I guess that you could conceivably have like a position 5 Lina and then go back for
They did run that before. Remember, there was a game where they picked Sven Lina as the first 2 pick,
right,
and then the enemy team counterpicked Razor.
right.
So they didn't want to put the Sven on the carry, and they're like, okay, let's move the Lina over to the support as well. So
I mean, if they're going to do that, they would need to do something like Drow Ranger safe and then Medusa Mushi mid.
I mean, they picked the Medusa without the Drow, so
That's true too.
yeah. I think Mag is a drafter that says, look, I'm going to just do what makes sense. If it makes sense to not have the Lina as a mid position, we'll do that. But for now,
The Sven Van, maybe they saw those games, not wanting to have to deal with it. It'd certainly be quite strong. It's also worth noting that these were the 2 middle of the pack teams. So Execration got in by the skin of their teeth over Faceless. We saw those games. Obviously a big detriment to Faceless fans out there, and of course the team themselves being the dominant people in C throughout the whole period of time, and then finally not to be able to make it to TI. But these are the sort of the next generation, if you will. Clutch Gamers, maybe one of the only teams, with the exception of Faceless, that didn't blow up their roster. They've been together, even though their recent performances haven't been that stellar.
no. I think they're the team that has a lot of potential. Again, the narrative with them in the last couple of days is that their previous playstyle has not really worked, at least to the extent that they have. And now it's time to develop a new style, or kind of adapt to what's been currently popular in the region, which seems to be non-stop fighting from the series that you just casted.
Yeah. Well, that might be
it
a
could just
Fnatic
like a
specialty.
QO thing, a QO raging potato kind of game.
That's the thing, right? Is that it feels like it's very team dependent, and this to me feels like the Clutch Gamers of old. You pick a Sand King, you pick a Puck, these heroes that can constantly go in and team fight, but the defining factor is going to be how do they negotiate their want to team fight with their ability to like take towers and then make sure that they have like buyback in those instances and not just always going in.
Yep. To me, Mag is one of those players that also, I think, thrives the most when it's more of a team fight game. His decision making is very strong. His initiating role is very strong. He had a very strong Void game, had a very good Clockwork game that I remember seeing. So those to me are the heroes that more or less suit the playstyle and the pacing of the game that Clutch Gamer also want to go for. So it'll be very interesting to see if both teams opt for that kind of mid-game, one fight decide it all kind of draft. And those games, I think, are also very, very fun to cast and watch because both teams going to be like 3-4K difference in net worth. That one fight to decide it all. That's good stuff.
And that's what happened in the previous series too, where it was just suddenly Execration in that game #1 lost a team fight and they didn't have buyback, and then they lost the whole rest of their base. Now this game's a little bit different because obviously we don't have like the biggest tower hitters yet. Maybe you start building into a couple of those type of heroes. And
Lina's a good tower hitter, I would say.
Well, she is, but it also depends upon her getting a lot of items. And in the mid game, you're not going to have the items that turn her into a tower hitter.
I would say levels is very important as well, right? Well, because once you get to 25, you are a tower staging machine.
Yeah.
But
10 seconds remaining.
It feels like by the time she gets 25, the game could be decided if Clutch Gamers are able to punish her enough. Because we've seen a couple of times, right, where Lena, she starts off hot and then suddenly gets picked off a few times. And even though the Bloodstone, you know, you'll come back quickly, you can help the rest of your team. If you're losing and losing her over and over again and not getting anything for it, that's where it really starts to hurt you.
All right, we got the fly solo Rubik here. The man can play. Very fast fingers. Not exactly the best spells to be available right now to steal, but perhaps we'll limit 1 or 2 picks coming out from Mineski.
Certainly a powerhouse in the meta as it stands, and another one of those heroes that, again, allows them to take these fights and turn them back around, depending upon what's happening. You know, for instance, maybe you throw a light strike array out there that gets stolen from the Lena, and you can completely swing a team fight into your advantage. It's really going to depend. So I like it. I guess the other question is going to be, like, the way that the laning stage works out. Rubik can be a strong laning hero if he has other heroes in the lane that can follow it up. What are you talking about? No. Like, think about it. You pull somebody back in, and if you got somebody else that's tough.
All right. Okay, I could give you that. I agree. Rubik by himself, not very, very strong, but once you have the proper combination, I think we saw it was EGM and Ake actually just 2 days ago did run this like AA Rubik combination where you put the cold feet, you lift into a stun. So there's some stuff you could do. We've seen Clockwork plus Rubik in the past as well, where Clockwork cogs somebody. When the cogs is about to end, you lift him up, throw him into the side of the cogs, and he gets bounced around a little bit. But yeah. So as you were kind of mentioning earlier, Lena might not be the mid here. DK is going to be the mid, looks like. And we're going to have a Bristleback coming out from Clutch Gamers.
Strong lane. Yep. We talked about they need it. Sand King's going to be running around trying to make stuff happen, picking up bounty runes, getting boots early. And DK, to me, feels like that indomitable hero in the mid lane who is not going to be able to be ganked easily.
Yes. Absolutely correct. I think DK actually has an amazing matchup against Puck in the mid lane because Puck can't really burst you to kill. I mean, he has 2 nukes, but with DK's ability to keep himself practically always at full HP, Puck, even with a +1 gank, you probably need like a +2 gank to kill the Dragon Knight. And at that point, it becomes very obvious. Also, post level 6, Puck, one of his job is to move around and get some silent kills, but as soon as you do that, you lose the mid tower to Dragon Knight. So I think the lane matchup is very, very in favor of Mushi, who is going to be playing the DK. And now we're going to get the Necrofalls pick, which is supposedly the counter to Bristleback, although I think in actual practice has not really been that effective. You got Rubik with a no field that could be applied to the team, and Rubik is one of the most natural Glimmer Cape buyers. Yeah. And now all of a sudden you have a great steal now. Necrofalls ult.
Or Death Pulse. I mean, Ghost Shroud is also... It's not great this game because you're just going to get blown up by Lena. But the thing that I also will say about the Puck versus DK matchup is DK, he's very strong against physical damage. There's a possibility, and there's a world that exists, if Sand King gets enough levels, where the burst damage from Puck with an Illusory Orb, a Silence, and then maybe a Burrow Strike with Caustic procs around, it has to be perfect, but there's a world in which that kill happens somewhat easily with a third.
I think that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Necrofalls likely will build into a mech. You gotta keep in mind, okay, if 3 people finds DK by himself in the river, yes. But as soon as a Death Pulse come out, as soon as a mech come out, suddenly you're just front-loaded a whole bunch of damage into a hero that's naturally tanky, then you're not going to have enough to burst anybody else down.
I'm imagining like in a laning stage gank possibility. Okay. That's the...
Yeah, maybe like, especially if Puck has an early Veil.
Right.
The Veil could kind of tip it in favor. We kind of talk a lot about the magic damage coming out from Clutch Gamers, so on the flip side, if DK gets like an early Hood, which we've seen teams doing from time to time, or if he gets an early BKB, suddenly you have heroes that like Puck, Sand King, Rubik that just don't do anything.
Did they just pick Enigma into Rubik?
Yes, they did.
Dubious.
Dubious indeed. So you can get a Lincoln Sphere to protect the black hole, or you could just be pretty much like have a lot of confidence to be able to black hole the Rubik. But the problem is, Sand King has a very easy way to break that black hole. Same thing with Puck, and Clutch Gamer still has the final pick.
The other thing is I really don't like Lina in a support role if you don't have another setup for that stun. Like, now you have Light Strike Array, but the thing is like, Earth Spirit hasn't necessarily... I'm talking about in the laning stage. Like, I don't know what she's going to be doing outside of, like, pulling and stacking. If Clutch Gamers wanted to, they could even, like, stick the Bristleback offlane, which isn't what we see that often nowadays. But I don't know how you stop him in the laning stage. I guess maybe, like, Heartstopper Aura, but even that's not great. Like... I think Bristleback could have a fine time in that lane.
Yeah. Ooh, we're going to see the Armel Invoker.
Oh, baby.
Ooh.
Okay, so yeah, they're switching it up.
Yep.
Gabby Puck.
Can I have a minute about the Armel Invoker?
Please do.
The Sumail. The guy loses his lane but takes over the game because he's very good and his team is very good.
Did you say that Sumail loses his lane?
No, Armel loses his lane.
I was going to say. I thought I was confused.
Sumail does not lose his lane. Armel loses his lane sometimes and then takes over the game because he's very good at playing catch-up. Has a fairly decent Midas timing, but one of his biggest strengths is his ability to catch up through Sunstrike. His team sets him up. He gets the last hit absolutely always. And then 15 minutes later, he absolutely has one of the best spell casting Invoker in the late game. Like, just making sure he hits 3-man tornadoes, 4-man EMP, all that stuff. And I am prepared to be dazzled.
Prepare to be dazzled indeed. And I will say, this was the style of Dota that Clutch Gamers showed going into the
this exact one.
This exact one. And the other thing, too, was I think it was Mineski that knocked them to at least the lower bracket in the Kiev qualifiers, if I'm not mistaken. They were at least one of the teams. It was a completely different Mineski, but it was still a Mineski nonetheless.
It was the Mineski. Miracle on carry, Raging Potato on second position, RR on number 3, Jules on 4.
Yeah.
It was a Mineski that I loved, and they did not go anywhere, unfortunately.
Rough life. Rough game. But now time to redeem themselves. Well, not that Mineski, but Clutch Gamers. They stuck together when others separated apart. We'll see if they're going to be able to make it happen. Mineski, obviously an incredibly strong team nonetheless, and I think that they have a very clear draft and strategy that they want to try and execute. To me, the DK is sort of the same style of hero as the Medusa is, which has been what works the best for Mushi. Mushi, yeah. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble because I realized I do not have my hotkeys set up on this, so this is going to be fun.
I believe it's F for last hit. No, it's not.
All right, we are. This is going to be an interesting one, folks. Don't worry.
You can just pull down the drop down.
I got it.
And then you switch a network.
No, that's not happening. Okay. Change sorting. Wonderful. We're good. So yeah, give me a quick little chat about what you're feeling and what you're hoping to see in the early stages. Gabby, on this Puck, how much do you think he's going to be able to get?
I think the mid lane is going to come down to a lot of trading farm. Like I mentioned earlier, I think DK, you rather to be on the DK side when you're coming to trade farm. So I think the lane is Mushi favored. Overall, the draft though, the Enigma pick worries me a little bit. Sorry, I was talking about the Puck versus DK matchup. I was brain farting. Of course, it's going to be Invoker versus DK matchup, obviously. And in that front, Invoker's not looking to really get any early game kills. Instead, he's going to be looking to just farm as well. In that regards, I think you much rather to be on the Clutch Gamer side, because Clutch Gamer's Invoker, to me, scales much better into the mid and late game than a Dragon Knight would.
Do you have to worry about getting your lane pushed out against the DK and then your tower dropping? Like, is that something that Armel needs to be worried about at all?
Well, Invoker does walk into the jungle sometimes to start jungling a little bit, so maybe DK could pressure the tower then. But for the most part, Armel has no problem staying in the lane, just like a Dragon Knight would. So they're going to just trade farm.
I guess it's dependent upon if he starts getting ganked a ton and killed. That's usually when the Invoker heads back to the jungle and then DK can punish. But if Armel is able to dodge those ganks, suddenly you're able to stay there pretty sound and happy.
Difference being made here. Mushi does have the better block because his support blocked for him. And Flysoul did not block for him then. So.
Okay. All right. Well, early movement out there. We are going to be also seeing Mr. Arc down here in the bottom lane, having himself a nice little time against Gabby, I would imagine. I don't know really, like, if you pick Earth Spirit and he's not getting kills, I feel like it's kind of a wasted hero. You kind of need to be able to make those happen, right?
Yes and no. I think Earth Spirit, to me, his mid game is somewhat underrated as a support that could. Good Earth Spirit player have very precise initiation, and that's going to be important against like ganking Armel, for example, in the mid game. But yes, for the most part, when you pick an Earth Spirit, you don't look to be passive in the lane. So I am surprised that he's not starting mid to pressure the Invoker, right?
Oh no. This might be the bottle snipe.
Yep.
Fly Solo, he's been waiting. He saw
Very
right there
patiently.
as well that Mushi just got enough gold for it, and this is going to be such a detriment to the DK, who started off in a really good position,
But
10
they
and
know.
1. Do they know?
Oh, yeah, that courier ain't moving.
All right. Yeah, Rubik not showing in lane, but still it's Mushi, and he's not really being punished for this either, because he can still last hit and get a bunch of denies without the bottle.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon Knight's not going to get pressured by Invoker, so he could wait. Fly Solo gonna get a rune.
So too will Ninja Boogie, taking that one away from Gabby. There's a haste rune here as well. Maybe Bombax will use this to see if they can punish and take down Ninja Boogie.
First blood.
Yeah, Burrow Strike comes through in some trouble. Sunstrike there as well. He called it. Armel always getting those kills, and Rubik also not quite going to be able to get the kill on that courier. He got spotted.
Yeah, but that was the first blood Sunstrike from Armel, so he got the experience despite not being there. And all of a sudden, look at the level difference in the mid lane. So level 4.5 Invoker to level 3.5 DK.
Yeah. They're going to ferry out that bottle now. Rubik still staying in this mid lane. Even if he's not necessarily there for the courier snipe, they might be trying to bring down Mushi, and Mushi in trouble. Burrow comes through. They have another Sunstrike available. No, they don't actually. Instead, they're going to get the Forge Spirits, finding the kill there. Ninja Boogie not able to save the day.
Wow, they're going to go hard for one more. Ninja Boogie taking a lot more right click. Armel finds himself a double kill. We are 3 minutes in. And Sumel C has 3 kills. I like his name.
That's a nice little moniker for him, the Sumail of C. We'll see if he can live up to that as well, as he's already off to a great start. The other lanes also not going bad at all for Clutch Gamers. You got Bristleback, who's currently 18-2, has the Soul Ring done. Enigma can't really do much to pressure him. In bottom lane, Gabby's having himself a fine time as well.
Yep. The Enigma pick is not really meant to pressure any safe laner. It's more just him getting his farm. So it's expected walking out of the draft that the Bristleback is going to have a good lane. What isn't expected is the Puck having such a good time. Because, like you pointed out earlier, both the supports were on the bottom side of the map, right? Gabby shouldn't be able to get this much farm.
I guess maybe it's that, Earth Spirit not actually being in
Earth
the lane.
shit.
Earth shit. I want to say Earth Shaker, but that's
Okay.
not what it is. He's not been having a good one. We won't call him that though. Arc not quite gonna get caught. Maybe Rior though.
Yeah, the lift, I believe.
Movement speed 310 versus 295. That's not what you want to have. Rior going to be caught, killed off. Gabby with another one.
All right, Clutch Gamers. The engine is revving up. Everything is working as planned. And Mineski is gonna need to have a very powerful mid game. And honestly, their lineup is built for the mid-game, right? You have an early mech timing coming out from the Enigma. You got the great mid-game push coming out from the Dragon Knight. And, of course, the Reaper Scythe starting to pick off a couple of kills. So even though Mineski is not doing too well right now, I believe by the strength of their lineup, they can make a mid-game comeback. So I wouldn't be too worried if I'm a Mineski fan.
Okay. Well, we'll have to wait and see. It does look like they'll spot Boobax heading over with this Dragon Knight illusion, and there's another one there as well. Rubik is still in the mid lane as well. Mushi might feel a little bit safer because there isn't anybody there, but it feels like they need the full assortment of heroes to actually find that kill.
Yeah. I think this Fly Solo in the mid lane isn't about getting a kill on Mushi, but rather protecting Armel.
Okay, yeah, I guess Rior and Ninja Boogie have been.
Right.
I guess they actually have this ward here now, so they'll spot the two of them out, and Boombax dodges away. Okay.
That sidestep, though.
Twinkle toes, that's what they call them.
And going back to the point that you made earlier, you pick up an Earth Spirit, and you're not getting too many stuff done on the map. That is, somewhat concerning, because that is one of his greatest strengths as a hero.
And like you look there, they pop the first DK ulti, Mushi does. They use a glyph immediately so it doesn't take too much damage, and they're still going to be able to get all of the CS under tower. They spot out the Earth Spirit rotation with the scan. Like, they know everything that's going to be happening. Clutch Gamers are just reading this game beautifully. And it doesn't really feel like Mineski have that many options.
Well, I mean, despite the popping the glyph, I mean, look at the mid-tower damage. Very good time by Mushi using that ultimate. He used it in conjunction with the catapult wave.
Yeah.
And even though the scan did spot out Earth Spirit coming in, Invoker still had to back up, right? Even though he knew that it was coming. So as a result, the tower took a bunch of that damage. Rappy's kind of all up in the grill of this Radiant jungle.
Yeah, they see all of this too.
Yeah.
He's taking out the creep wave while
Farming
simultaneously
2 camps, taking out a creep wave, no problem.
And it's pressuring this top tower. That's the nice part about this. Mag can farm it, but
bottom side, Sunstrike.
Possibly. Kill. Gets it onto Rior. Another one for Armel.
Yep.
And Art can't really do anything to stop this.
Got to make sure Lyrical not missing any kills on camera.
Lumi, what a god.
Yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend. Oh, no. Is he going to deny all of these? Oh, Mushi. Oh, he's just getting denied in his face. That was 3 creep denies and a miss CS. GG. Oh, God. Armel is really having himself a good time. Like that's not the biggest thing in the world, but it shows the mentality right now.
The tilt, man.
Exactly.
Top lane here looks like there was a 4-man rotation, or 3-man rotation rather, from Mineski, and Fly Solo aggressive. Ooh, Rappy's got to be careful himself. Both teams walking back and forth, looking for a catch of some sort, but spells are expended, and no kills to be had.
Damn. This is nuts. I really feel like right now Armel is just... I mean, if you are a 4-0 Invoker, 50 CS at 7.5 minutes...
Did I say he was going to lose the lane?
Yeah, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's
and it might be better here as Fly Solo looks for the lift.
Nah, he's going to have to run away. But that's DK ulti popped again. And nothing really gained for it. He will be able to pick up a DD rune. This is a huge boon for Mineski. But still... something where you'd probably want that tower down a little bit earlier. I think it's going nice. Necrophos has phase boots, building towards the hood.
I mean, to me, if you look at this draft, and you asked me like 5 minutes ago, or hold that thought here, as Rappy gonna get rotated on, they're gonna TP in Arc with the Reaper Scythe. And instead, he might get the Sanking. Sanking, what are you doing? I think he wanted to burrow strike down the cliff, and then he's pinging it out. He's like, I got paffed.
Yeah, that's that weird thing too, where you can see it and you accidentally click, but the overhang is longer than you expected.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for him, because that TP for Arc would have been a big cost if he didn't get anything done, and he wouldn't have gotten anything done had he not get that kill.
Rappy stacking up the quills as well. You still have Enigma in the area. Black Hole had already been used earlier and didn't end up gaining anything from it. That's what that was a little bit ago. It was low HP, but still, Rappy with the Vanguard. He's building towards a hood. I struggle to see how they're going to be able to kill this guy off.
Yep. Reaper Scythe helps a lot, right?
Yeah.
So you drop the Laguna, you drop the Reaper. Midnight Pulse is a very strong spell against the Bristleback. So there are some tools. I think that the bigger issue is how big this Invoker is, how unpressured he is. And Armel is soon going to take over the game.
Like, you can only do one of them, right? You can't either Reaper the Bristleback or you Reaper the Invoker.
Yeah.
And you have to use a lot of spells to take down either of them.
Sure.
All right, Mushi again with the DD rune. They want to try and pressure this. He has ulti as well, but Boombax is in the area. They're going to be able to find him. There's the stun. The lift up is going to be there to follow. Armel drops down the Meteor. Cold Snap there as well. Mushi in trouble and is going to be not Sunstruck. Instead, just punched to death.
Yeah. Mushi was caught in such a hard spot that he just basically went in, knowing that he was going to die in anyways, to hopefully get a stun off to maybe get an Armel kill in exchange, but Armel playing it very nicely with the Cold Snap and pushes him back. He's got the Midas running already. 1,500 gold in the bank. To me, the draft reads Mineski has good lanes.
Yeah.
But what actually happened is that we had like 0 impact from the Earth Spirit, right?
Yeah.
So I think as a result, when you play essentially 4v5, that is a big problem.
I mean, that's the thing, too. It's like... It felt like they had to come down and help out their Necro to have a good lane because of the pressure that the Puck and the Sand King gave. Dreamcoil now down. Mushi breaks the tether, heading back. This is just devastation. Armel is just owning Mushi.
Yeah. No, he didn't break the tether. It was the coil on top of him, and then the lift threw him out of the tether,
Well
and then
done.
it was Sunstrike.
Okay.
So a little bit of combo gaming here from Clutch Gamers. Very nicely done. But back to your point here, the support's supposedly on the bottom lane to help out the Necro against the Puck, but the Puck, he's impacting the game right now. You know, he's level 9, he's working towards a Veil, so I didn't feel like he was either slowed down by the two supports. Something went terribly wrong here in the laning stage from Mineski, and I think it's the support side. Maybe it's, you know, switching the Lina from a mid position to a support position.
Yeah.
Definitely the Earth Spirit not doing well, but whatever the case is, the result is that Clutch Gamer is, to me, too far ahead now for Mineski to slow down and stop him.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing, is it's like, you can't, it's not necessarily that they won 3 lanes, but they at least broke even in two of them, and I think that they won mid pretty handedly. And on top of that, Bristleback is able to just, you know, he goes down there and farms the 2 camps and the creep wave at the same time. Maybe a little bit of a battle of brewing here. Fly Solo going to be caught for the moment. Stun comes out as well. Mushi on top of him. And Mineski getting on the board again. 2-7 at least. But still that mid lane tower stands. We'll see if they want to glyph it.
Top lane?
Even come to defend it.
Arc. All right.
I think he's fine. Yeah, Rappy doesn't get taken down there.
Yep. Arc had a huge magic wand. It was down to actually half HP, but pop his Ghost Shroud and then pop his magic wand back to 4 HP instantly.
Are they really not going to get this tower?
I think Clutch Gamer could just deny it now.
I mean, even if they don't even necessarily have to, they can just hold this tower, and then they've got so much map presence and ability to move in and defend and fight.
Sure. Or you make Mineski commit that, you know, extra 1 minute of time to actually get it.
Yeah. Well, certainly not what you would want if you're Mineski. They're stacking up the Ancients now. Unfortunately, it does look like they're still blocked out by the Sentry Wards. Clutch Gamers just look so
just like
good.
2 steps ahead of Mineski. I feel like every step of the way. Ninja Boogie is going to get a little bit of experience here, as he does have the ward, you know, overseeing this. All right, hits level 6.
Oh, they scanned it, though. They realize that this is happening.
But they can't punish them, so.
They'll at least be able to force him back so he can't soak up the rest of the experience. Like, he didn't get that much from it.
Yeah, you got some of the small ones.
All right, so net worth lead right now is around 6,000 into the favor of Clutch Gamers, 3,000 experience. And as far as core items that are coming up, like, Invoker is going to have, like, 14-minute ags.
Yes.
And they have another stack of Ancients over here for Bristleback.
Puck has a Veil. We were kind of mentioning during the draft, how do you bring down the DK? How do you bring down the Necro? The Veil was a big part of that. He's got that done. Bottom lane here, they're going to go for a kill on Max Sunstrike and Orb, completely whiffing. But it was like a risk-free kind of kill that they went for. And not going to get punished.
Gabby instead is going to get a nice little bounty of Eidolons. Fly Solo heading over here like Rappy with the Hood, Vanguard. Very unlikely that they actually find a kill. Instead, they might be able to wrap around and take down Rior, who is level 6, but out of mana and wisely going to step out of the mid lane.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Mineski now trying to take down the tier 1 tower in the top lane. The push strat, in spite of the net worth disadvantage, is still working for them, and Clutch Gamers in the meantime. Oh, he stole Death Pulse? Okay.
Yeah, he did. Oh, Fly Solo will juke away here from the slow. He now walks back in, lifts, toss back the Necrofalls.
And the silence came out there for Armel, the Magnetize as well, but they're not really doing enough. Fly Solo probably going to pay for this one. They finally do get that kill. But it looks like Mineski able to hold that mid tower while simultaneously taking the top tower. So in spite of the lead, they're making good movements and then finding value around the map.
And that's the mid-game strength of the lineup that I talked about. The Enigma mech not coming. Instead, we're going to see the more standard build here, the Midas first for Enigma. And this is the strength of the pick. Because of the CDR reduction you get at level 15, you can get a ton of value out of the Hana Midas and become one of the most rich heroes in the late game. And of course, you have more Black Hole, more item usage, like whether being it mech or blink and things like that. So this is the dip that Mag needs to tick, but the rest of his team very, very strong at this point.
Boombox also is getting close to that point where he can almost instantly take out creep waves with Caustic and a little bit of a Burrow Strike action, but Mid lane, maybe going to be able to find something onto Arc. Gabby doesn't
Coil?
have. There it is. Yeah, it's going to be able to connect. They actually get the Tornado Sunstrike
Oh,
a
he
little
misses
bit
the
off
combo.
the mark. And that was a problem. I think that if right there you end up just leaving the... I don't think he thought this coil was going to snap.
Maybe, yeah. If you just Sunstrike and Meteor on top, you get that kill quite frequently. Bottom lane.
Oh, Black Hole going to take down that Sand King, but it's all that committed for just a Sand King, and now able to get the silence off on the Rubik before he's able to steal Black Hole. They're still trying to chase away. Ninja Boogie looks to be able to escape from this, but Mag...
Yeah, he's fine too.
Out.
All right.
It works.
Clutch Gamers making a couple of mistakes a little bit here. The mid kill missing, the bottom kill not really being revenged. They are still very ahead right now, but that is a pretty big window opened for Mineski to begin a comeback.
Yeah. You still have the problem of this Invoker, who is currently topping the net worth by 3,000 gold over the next highest on the Radiant.
Right.
But all of that net worth doesn't matter that much if you start losing all of your towers.
I mean, the flip side of the coin is that if Invoker is not hitting his spells, right, it doesn't matter how many items that he has.
Exactly, that too.
Yeah,
Both
so
of those things.
Although generally, I don't imagine Armel will continue to miss his spells. He's generally very on point on that, and he's got the axe finish, like you mentioned. He's got the Breach of Travel in the next like 2 minutes, so look towards him being a split pushing machine all over the map.
Also, Boomback's about to be able to finish off his Blink Dagger after taking out this camp, and with everything else coming online shortly, the Blink on Puck only about 250 gold away. This does feel like it's finally going to be time for Clutch Gamers to turn back the tide of losing these towers into their favor. Bottom lane, they've caught the Rubik though. Magnetize actually didn't connect onto the Bristleback. He's still very tanky and will have the hood. I did absolutely nothing to him. Rappy looking mighty fine, and Mineski is looking sheepish as they back away.
Well, it did something to him. He activated the hood, and then the hood just took it all. And of course, he has his back turn. Gabby?
Well, dodging away. I don't think that Arc can really do anything here. He's just going to be able to jaunt out. So, like we mentioned, the core items are up now. Sand King has his Blink Dagger. Puck has their Blink Dagger. If they want to smoke gank, if they not, you might be losing a little bit of value from that, but maybe you just go for like an Epicenter Sunstrike, Burrow Strike kill here in the bottom lane.
Mushi reveals his Shadow Blade up top here. Armel will fight back EMP Tornado on DK. DK will pop the drum and still lose all of his mana, so not the most value out of the exchange.
No.
BOT now online on the Invoker.
So this is kind of cool. They're gonna like bait out the Bristleback, keep the Sand King behind him, and then smoke his 3 across the rest of the map. So they're gonna try and find a kill mid while simultaneously setting up a kill bottom. There's the jump forward. They silence him there. The Dream Coil as well. Snap, Sunstrike. The full combo coming out and is going to not barely be able to get him to kill.
Tornado.
The Tornado. That should find it.
Yep.
And meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Sand King's coming in. They're going to turn onto the Lina here and see if they can possibly find the kill onto her as well.
Blink on cooldown.
They're almost there. 1 second and a little bit late.
All right, good guess at the spot, but looks like they're going to try to transition into a tier 2 push. Creep Wave is available. And this should be a freebie. This is the point in the game where Mushi and his friends need to be extremely careful, because with these tier 2s going down, Roshan is going to be opened up as well. You got to keep in mind that Mineski is working with some of the longest cooldown timer in that Enigma. So if he blows a black hole for, let's say, an inconsequential kill, then Clutch Gamer can run away with the game by taking Roshan.
Oh, they're going for Mag right now, though. The Burrow Strike, not quite there. He is going to be slowed down at least a little bit. The TPs are coming in.
Friend.
Can they actually get out of there, though? FlySolo is still left alone. They're going to chase that black hole Enigma around the map, and FlySolo looks to be able to dodge away from one, gets the lift. The sun is going to end up going down. Meanwhile, Mag also dies in the top lane. So trading of kills, but the Enigma going down much bigger for Clutch Gamers.
Lincoln Sphere going to get queued up here for the Invoker. I guess the most dangerous stun that he's looking to block is the Dragon Knight stun coming out of the Shadow Blade in particular. And then, I mean, there's still things like Midnight Pulse and even the Reaper Scythe, but the DK stun is the one that he's most worried about.
Malefice. Midnight Pulse is the little...
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, it's a good one. I think that that's definitely one of those items that you can play around everything else pretty much, and makes more sense than something like a blink, because, you know, if you get stunned, you're not going to be able to blink out anyways.
Sure. Would not surprise me if he does end up going for Blink after that.
Right.
Although Octarine might be a little bit more popular as a choice.
His
What I'd like to see from both teams now is to make sure they get vision up on the Roshan spot. Vision and detection.
Shouldn't Armel realize he's being Heartstopper? He's like right next to him there. Had the debuff applied, but
Maybe he just didn't care, dude.
yeah, don't care. Who cares? IDC.
If you don't have vision on the Necrofalls, you won't have the Heartstopper icon on you. But obviously your
okay.
HP bar does decrease quite rapidly. So
Yeah.
if you're paying attention to that, you would notice. But maybe he did not pay attention to it.
All right, Clutch Gamers heading in towards Roshan.
This is risky.
This is scouted completely.
Yep.
They see them all moving in there. But, I mean, the black hole, it feels like this is maybe fightable. Which is definitely a word.
I think one of the reasons why Clutch Gamer just walked straight in, despite having the the knowledge of the fact that maybe there are wards near them, is that they know that Enigma does not have Blink Dagger. So, like, how is Enigma actually going to get off a black hole? Just waltz his way in without BKB?
I mean, they didn't have any vision there. Like, that was a super risky play
I mean,
for Clutch
they
Gamers.
saw Mag farming up top.
Yeah,
so as soon as they saw that he had no BKB, he had no Blink. So he's like, okay, well, we'll just walk into the pit.
I guess that's a good point, showing that Enigma, reveals a lot of your strat, and probably also, I think there's somebody that might have TP'd down towards the bottom lane or something, but regardless, it's time for Clutch Gamers to really put their foot on the gas.
Yeah, start converting that Roshan into some tier 2s, pin Mineski into the base. Mineski, likely this is one of the last couple of times that they could move out the base within the next couple of minutes, so they're going to try to get a tier 1 and hopefully move into a tier 2 kill as well.
So Mag has the BKB. Things to cancel this are the Rubik stealing Black Hole and then turning it against him.
It's still hard though because you're working with the same range, right? If you walk too close, you get Black Hole.
Right.
So
Sunstrike down to Mushi as well. I guess the other big thing too is that you can just like turn it around against the enemy opponents also.
Yep. You can just kill him like through the BKB. Sunstrike on top of his head. If Enigma does not catch your Invoker, just right click him a couple of times. He's not that tanky in the sense that he doesn't have the greatest of armor, right? 5 armor is not the best.
Tornado not quite going to connect there. That would have been mighty unlucky for Mineski, but Clutch Gamers now looking for that last tier 2 in the mid lane. See if they can claim it.
Mineski wants to fight this. They are grouping up for a smoke. Unfortunately for Mac, he's only level 14. He would love to be level 15 to pick up that 15% CDR before taking this fight. That is actually quite critical. And this fight is very important for Mineski. If they lose this fight, likely they're going to lose the tier 2 and perhaps even the tier 3. They have itemized for this timing in the game by picking up double drums, 1 on the DK, 1 on the Necrofall. So this mid-game fight is super important for them. But looks like they're not even going to have a good angle to take the fight. They will give up the tier 2. And Clutch Gamer are looking super strong right now.
Yeah, and this is one of those moments where other teams might have just decided to try for high ground. And I think that they still can if they want to. You can see like their decision-making process happening. I don't think that they have to, but this is certainly at least a test for them, and a lot of time left on Roshan.
I think they want to damage the tier 3 a little bit. If they could get the tier 3, then the map super opens up with the shrines going down as well. So they're kind of poking and prodding. They have the Aegis, so they can make a play like that. And also, if you look at the mini-map, Clutch Gamer is not being pressured at all on the other lanes. Top lane a little bit.
Gabby, he's being revealed right now. They have this Invis rune here. Mushi could open up onto Gabby. This would be tremendous. They find Gabby at the start, blow him up.
Time to get the hell out, guys.
Yeah, Clutch Gamers need to run away. A little unfortunate there. I think it might have even been the Invis rune that allowed them to think about sticking around a little bit longer. But basically no damage on the tower, so Clutch Gamers, still a lot of time left on this Aegis to maybe constrict the map.
Yep. But this does give a little bit of a breathing room here for Mineski to push out the side waves and look for that level 15 on Mag, which he does have right now. And if Mag could get his Blink Dagger before the next push, they might even beat Clutch Gamer, even though they have Aegis. Like, the Blink BKB is so strong on Enigma. Because there is no answer to it, right? Once you assemble this.
I mean, it's just the Rubik again.
Right.
which is an answer. It's something you got to be careful of, and God, heaven forbid he ends up stealing black hole. Mineski will be in a ton of trouble. You think about a black hole on top of all the other team fight that they have.
But it's just the Rubik, right? Because
yeah,
other times when you're playing Enigma, you kind of have to black hole like 2 key heroes, and they would never stand together. I mean, here, you just get like Enigma, or sorry, you get the Rubik and one other, and you're just like very happy with that black hole.
I guess my thought here is that if Rubik is playing this well, he's not going to get caught, and
he never shows.
They know that, like, he doesn't have to show because the rest of the heroes are more than enough team fight for him. I think that it's dependent a lot upon Fly Solo just to play this normal, and also Mineski don't have any other vision-giving heroes.
Yeah. Well, Dragon Knight being the Shadow Blade
right.
holder is supposed to be that one. So you're right. It's a game of chicken here between Fly Solo and Mag. Neither of them will use their ability. Neither of them will ideally show. And it's up to the other heroes on both teams to force each other out, right? DK is going to walk in, start stunning kids, and then hopefully draw, let's say, Fly Solo's telekinesis or something like that, and then Mag can react.
No.
But right now, Mineski doing an exceptional job at waiting out this Aegis.
Well, and this to me, like you said, is it's the game of chicken. Is who is it that's going to make that first move? And I feel like Mineski are the team that if you cut out the Rubik and if you cut out the Enigma, they don't have as good of team fight. And so they're going to be losing the team fight, and Enigma is going to be forced to use the black hole early. And that's the way that I see it going, really. It's going to depend a lot upon how, like, the initiation happens and all that stuff, but really, to me, it feels like Mineski need a black hole to win a team fight. Clutch Gamers don't need to steal black hole to win a team fight.
Definitely.
Now it's just wait. Wait.
Mineski, same plan. Obviously, way out the Aegis. Clutch Gamer looking for a good opportunity, which they are not finding. There is a smoke of deceit here on Fly Solo, but they're pretty much aware where Mineski is, which is kind of really close to their base. And they're not going to split up, so it's hard to really find a good smoke. That is not super obvious.
And Puck, I mean, I think that this is the one downside to Clutch Gamers lineup, and I think it's what ended up being the death of them in the other tournaments that they played, was that they never really had a strong building hitter, and that's the problem with their type of draft. And Mineski, realizing what they're going to do, are saying, okay, we're just not going to fight you. Normally in C, this type of Dota works for Clutch Gamers because they would take a fight, and doesn't look to be happening here. Even when these little instances where there's the potential for a fight, it's not going to turn into a 5-on-5. Mineski is going to split push.
Clutch Gamer don't have an individually very strong tower sieger, but you put Rappy in the front to zone people out. Armel's Invoker with Alacrity would do fine hitting in buildings. It's just that it's a very dangerous stance that you're doing up in the high ground, right? There's Magnetize you need to worry about. There's the Black Hole plus Midnight Pulse you need to worry about. And if you get Reaper in this stage of the game, you can be out of the game for close to 100 seconds. So,
Boombax is going for Guardian Greaves.
Okay,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, this is actually a playstyle Sand King that I've seen from, I want to say, Ninja Boogie. Very commonly, you see very rich 4-position Sand King just opts in for, let's say, a Aghanim Scepter to increase the range of the Burrow Strike. But in a game like this, where you need to protect your team for a black hole.
Oh, they ended up revealing it. Puck is going to be able to get out of there. Wow. That is really nuts. That reveals the whole smoke play.
Right. Very unfortunate here for Mineski. But back to the point of the Sand King. Itemizing for Ags versus itemizing from Mech, they both give you team fight, just different forms of team fight. And this one kind of angles it a little bit more defensively, making sure that when the Reapers come, you get that burst healing to perhaps bring somebody out of the Reaper's range.
Right. Well, Roshan ready to respawn very shortly. It's a short timer on that one. It definitely feels like that is that next big engagement that we're going to see in this game. Armel has the Lincoln Sphere as well, so he can throw that onto the Bristleback if he wants when he goes high ground and just have more ways to enable that high ground siege.
Yep.
Do you think you give the Aegis to the Bristleback in this next one? Maybe drop the Soul Ring?
I've seen teams have different preference in situations like these. I think it comes down to Invoker's item slots. if he's out of item slots, you probably give it to the Bristleback. But the next one has Aegis and Cheese, right?
Yeah.
So I think you give the Aegis to Invoker and the Cheese to Bristle, and likely Bristleback should be tanky enough to get off his Cheese. Although Reaper Scythe might make the Cheese somewhat complicated to use.
Yeah. That would be the only reason that would be pretty good to do it. Okay, so they do realize that Roshan is up. The Sunstrike connects, and they can move in and start taking it. In the meantime, Mineski is pushing through this bottom lane. If they end up giving this Roshan away for free, this is, again, like, this is the moment where they would want to go and take this fight, right?
Yeah. But do they know? Gabby here in a position to get stunned.
Oh, they're going to open it up. There it is, the immediate stun. Everything dropped. You take that, though. For the Roshan, that's fine.
Yeah.
Now let's wait 60 seconds, and they're good to go. They actually are going to stick it on the Bristleback, it looks like. And I think
they're going to give the Cheese to Invoker.
It's what you were talking about, the Reaper Scythe being the X factor.
And, of course, Invoker does have to link in to protect himself from the Reaper Scythe. This is a brave Rappy TP.
Oh, my God. Actually, it's, well, Armel right there to side him, and Mag waiting off to the side. He's ready with the blink back hole, but they need to make sure that they catch more than just Rappy. And
Mushi just popped a 10-second BKB, which, I mean, he survived, which is the key part, but that's a big, big loss here for Mineski, in my opinion.
And did they see that? I'm sure that Clutch Gamers, yeah, they saw it. So now they know 70 seconds without that BKB, and Puck's about to be back up.
This is go time
right
now.
Oh, no. All right, well, we'll have to wait and see. Looks like Octarine Core is going to be that next item for Arc, but right now I think they just need to try and push out the lanes and not get caught. Oh, Boombaxi's going in for it, but the rest of the team is coming in as well. They're TPing in with the Invoker. Armel is there. They're all grouped up together, but there isn't an Enigma quite there in time, and trying to roll in. They get the stun onto Armel. Finds himself a kill. The black hole, it could still be coming, but is it going to end up happening?
No Cheese, he's dead.
Where is it? Mag not deciding to go. They're still going to be able to find that secondary kill. They don't even need to use it. They take down Armel. They take down the Sand King. Clutch Gamers bit off more than they could chew.
Yeah, I mean, they did get the kill that they wanted, but because Necrofalls is Necrofalls, he survived such a long time before dying, and as a result, the Invoker had to blink in after dropping the combo. I'm not sure whether he was chain stunned to a point where he couldn't use the Cheese, but it did seem like that towards the end.
Maybe you just let it happen, and then you end up coming back into the next fight with Cheese again. Like 3 minutes left, so they're going to have 2 minutes left on the Aegis when Invoker gets back up, and then they'll have Cheese and Aegis.
Yep.
Fly Solo still there with the 4 points in Death Pulse. Mushi is wrapping again around with this DK.
Oh, Fly Solo was being very aggressive right now.
The stun silence onto 2. Mushi goes in as well. The BKB is popped. They don't have an answer. Mag is coming in. All he needs to do is drop that black hole, and everybody's starting to fall down low. They come in as well, though, with Gabby. Armel still not back up. 15 seconds. Why did they go in without it? They're trying to burn through the Aegis right now. Mag's already able to TP out, and now Ninja Boogie trying to see if they can turn and finish off this puck. He's incredibly low HP.
Mag,
can he get out of there? He manages to get the phase shift off and still running away from it. Mushi maybe thinking about turning on this, but that Guardian Greaves, or rather Mechanism, was a huge fight turner.
Mech plus phase shift, and this is that's the absolute reason why you get Mech on Sand King as opposed to Aghanim Scepter. These fights are getting way too close. Aegis was expended. She's still available on the Invoker, but, well, Black Hole's down for a bit, right?
Yeah.
Let's go. 90 seconds, despite the 15% CDR. Clutch Gamer knows this, and they're going down mid. They got everything back up. Puck coil in about 10 seconds. This is do or die here for Mineski, and they need some really sick coordination to actually defend against this push.
Magnetize will be back up by the time that the Earth Spirit is here, 9 seconds away. They have stuck that Cheese onto Rappy, and with the Alacrity as well, they're getting into a position to try and deal the damage that they need to.
Okay.
But they don't want to step up to high ground yet.
Yeah, they are being very tenuous. One thing I want to point out is that Rappy, instead of taking the very common 10% spell lifesteal that you see normally in Bristleback, has taken 50 attack speed, which I find very interesting. Because if they really want attack speed on Rappy, they could just Alacrity him.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple of Force Stab being used. I think they wanted to push him in, perhaps get a quick Reaper Scythe kill.
I wonder if he's also going to be going for that 30 health regen. Jump in again, already there. They're destroying
go.
Necro, no longer a hero. A big stun came through onto 4, but don't know if it really matters. And now the lift up, they've got that DK in the air. but still holding on to high ground, but no Necro for 57 seconds. They eat the cheese, and now it's time to hit that tower, jump through. They caught the Lina. She's in trouble. Stun is going to connect onto 3 heroes yet again. Mushi there with the phase shift, gonna keep him alive. No silence onto Gabby. It only caught on the bristleback. The ice wall down.
What an angle.
That was beautiful by Armel.
10 seconds to Black Hole. They can't really make the same play that they've been making, the jump in aggressive. In fact, this could be a huge one here for Mag.
Yeah, there it is. There's going to be the epicenter down. Sunstrike is also going to connect.
Black Hole
left alive. The Black Hole is down onto 3, but I don't know if it's going to be enough damage to counter Black Hole, but it's immediately canceled. The Rubik is just going to be able to end up falling here in just a second. Boomback's trying to stay alive. The rest of them are running away. The Black Hole stolen from Rubik was not big enough, and now you lose that fight as Clutch Gamers. They got a tier 3 tower at the very least.
I mean, you say they lost the fight. They got a buyback from the Lina. They got the tier 3. They will lose a tier 2 of their own here as Armel's desperately trying to defend it. And you can see that Mineski is just going to run down mid and perhaps even set up a kill on Armel. This is going to be a tough one. They need to simultaneously use their 2 stuns, but looks like he's already out of there.
I mean, the reason that I say that I think they lost that fight is because they might have to force out a bristleback buyback here if they really push.
Yeah, Armel needs to have very good spell casting to make sure that he could delay long enough. Puck also trying his best to draw a little bit of attention up top here. But I think at worst, Clutch Gamer will just only lose to tier 2.
Okay. Yeah, they don't want to pressure it too much. That's probably the right decision. Maybe they could try and secure some more wards down around the map. They've got some pretty good vision around where the next Roche fight could take place. And speaking of Roche, it could respawn in as little as 2 minutes.
Yep. The other very scary thing here for Clutch Gamer is if you look over to Max Farm, I mean, I talked about Midas being discounted by the 15% CDR, but look at him. He's going to have Lincoln Sphere up right now.
Yeah, that changes everything too, because now
Black Hole's not going to get stolen.
Right.
Lincoln's BKB.
You need to have an Aghanims on Fly Solo so you can cast 2 of those in that 2-second cooldown time. Or the very short cooldown time. They're smoked up, seeing if they could find anybody. Mineski, very aware of this. To me, this shows like leadership, and it shows you know, veteran know-how of what's going to be happening in these games. Mineski, it felt like they got outlined and outplayed, but the decision-making and the way they've been moving around the map has been much better.
I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Mineski is still very behind.
Yeah.
But I think the point that you're trying to make is any other team would have just crumbled here and lost by now.
Definitely.
And the fact that Mineski is in a game it's worthy of praise.
Well, and I think that the biggest thing, too, is that it shows that they're not willing to go along with the flow of things. They're setting their own tempo for the game that Clutch Gamers are having to respond to.
That's for sure. Yeah.
So, Guardian Greaves are now finally done for Clutch Gamers. We have the Blink Dagger done for the Rubik a long time ago, and now he's potentially going to start building into the Aghanim Scepter. I think it is somewhat necessary this game. I don't know. Do you think that there's anything else that the team really needs as a whole? Like, is it a Glimmer Cape game? Or?
I would love to see a Glimmer against Reaper Scythe. I mean, although, how many Reaper Scythe have we seen? One? One on the Sand King that, you know, when Art ported up top.
It hasn't been much.
Right. And part of it is Clutch Gamer playing really well. They never extended to a point where a Scythe will be backbreaking. So maybe that's why Fly Solo believes that they don't need a Reaper. Yes. To answer your question, if Fly Solo to get Axe, great. But that is a hefty investment for a 5-position support that's constantly buying wards. So looks like he's going to be opting for something a little bit smaller.
I guess that my thought with this is it's like you do run into this situation where you have like a lot of time left in this game, I think. I don't imagine that if Mineski win a couple of fights, they just can run down mid. Maybe they can.
Maybe they can, yeah. Oh, this could be big. Double damage on the Dragon Knight if he wants it. He's got the gem being transferred by Mag over.
It's a very short respawn time on Roshan as well. Or what is this, 45 seconds away.
Yeah, Mineski would not know, though. I don't think they could afford to sit in the pit for 45 seconds, so they got to back off. Interestingly to point out that Invoker did select himself the experience gain talent at level 15, so the double Force Spirit will sorely be missed right now. We're back up top.
Yeah, he's going to get ran on. Burrow strike away before the silence comes out, but they have the Malefice, and Boomback's going to be stunned by the Boulder Smash. Should be dead again.
Yep.
So this is the thing. I remember when I was watching the CIS qualifiers for, I think it was the Summit, multiple games where Ghostic would just win them the game win Empire the game off the back of huge black holes with no counters in sight. And that's what I'm worried about in these games, is that now it's to the point where Mineski no longer need a black hole to win a fight. They don't need the perfect one. And I think Clutch Gamers do need a way to break a black hole, because if they get caught, even 2 heroes, it's so rough.
I would say even 1. If you could black hole Armel, if you could trade your black hole for Armel's existence every team fight, Mineski could win these fights. Because I think Clutch Gamers, all of their control, all of their damage, really is just Armel. And Armel, oh god, this is not a good position for him.
Yeah, he needs to be careful. They're all up on the high ground. They're sending out the courier
dead
as well.
Oh no, he blinks away, and now it's going to be a 4-man coil. Here we go.
The BKBs are already gone, though, and Rappy, can he stay alive? They end up turning this back around. Mag is sitting there with the black hole. He ends up having to drop it onto 2. It actually ends up catching the Sand King as well, but Mag, he's just going to end up dropping dead again in an instant.
Stolen black hole.
Kill for Gabby. They steal the black hole, and that is a huge fight for Clutch Gamers.
Okay, that was Fly Solo absolutely winning the team fight for them. Walks up the high ground, reacts faster than 4 or 5 Mineski player, gets to blink away, and instead of the initiation going on to Clutch Gamer, Puck just counter-initiated, and that was it.
I think the other thing that was huge in that fight was that Mineski ended up auto-attacking the courier when it came in, and that gave Fly Solo that like second of advantage as bottom lane. They've been able to find themselves the Necrophos, and oh, Arc, you can't afford to go down right now.
You'll Sunstrike?
Dying.
Is there a Sunstrike for this? No, there's going to be a TP out. There's a Sunstrike there, close.
Not quite in
I
time.
think it was a mistake for Gabby to actually use that Yules, because there was no way for the Necrophos to go home without it. But it doesn't matter at this point. Armel has found the melee racks. People are responding. They don't want to use their buyback for this, but they are going to lose at least 1, I think 2 lanes of racks right here.
The other thing is that Bristleback had that, he did go for the health regen talent instead of the cool sprays. He's all about the right-click damage dealing, and I don't know if they can bring him down, even in the duration of a black hole, not to mention Fly Solo.
He's got the black hole, yeah. This is a bad news. I'm not sure if Mineski is aware of it. I'm pretty sure.
He's caught over to the side here.
Caught or baiting. Caught or baiting. Fly Solo is coming in.
Welcome. Ready to turn this back around. Fly Solo over by the barracks. He's sitting over here to the east, ready to jump in. If they find an opening, Mushi is there as well. Hits the break for the moment. Onto that Bristleback, still looking for the opening. Fly Solo thinking about jumping, but they're holding on to it for the moment. All that regen. There's going to be the Reaper Scythe.
Got Aegis.
Only Aegis.
Yep. And now Raxes have been going down simultaneously. Fly Solo still tenuously looking for the black hole on the back line here. They're going on the Invoker. Invoker is stunned up right now. They're going to try to bring him down. Half HP Reaper side. Black hole onto 2 here. And now Sandking comes in with some Sandstorm damage.
I don't know if this is going to be enough. They take him down, and that's going to be Dragon Knight dead. You're looking at this completely falling apart for Mineski. They've got Arc contained, all 5 heroes there. Double kill for Gabby, and Mag looking on sheepishly. Black hole is off cooldown, but there is no way he has enough damage, and I think this might be Clutch Gamers taking the game on their hands. Mushi buys back, but for what?
Are we really on the for what meme?
It's got to happen, man. 31,000 net worth lead. The tier 4 is down. They buy back on the Necrophos. He's going to try and TP in. They have a big black hole potential. Oh, immediately a lens, but it's on to 4. Maybe they could do enough to Reaper Scythe as well. Have they actually turned this? What? Boombags barely left alive. They buy back on Armel. They want to come back into this and end the game right now. But the rest of Mineski is all grouping up, and they call the GG at the end. That's it.
They're like, oh, we black hole, we kill all of them. Just kidding. They buy back, they come back. We have no spells. We're all still dead.
Yeah.
That was the most PogChamp moment into the quickest realization. Oh, we still lost the game.
Oh, that was a good one, though. Clutch Gamers putting on a hell of a show and looking strong. Lumi, these are your teams. You had them in your predictions. You thought that they were going to do great. How do you feel about your boys?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see them kind of starting the game strong. This is one of Clutch Gamers' previous weaknesses, where they just have some trouble in the laning stage, but they won every single lane. They proceeded into the mid game extremely powerfully. And yeah, I'm very happy to see Clutch Gamer going well, but can't sleep on Mineski, because their mid-game decision-making has been extremely strong. Had the lanes gone a little bit better for them, I could see Mineski actually kind of running Clutch Gamer on the back foot. So I don't think the series will be a clean 2-0 sweep by Clutch Gamer. I think Mineski can fight back.
I'm excited for that one. I hope that you guys will continue to tune in. I think that there's still some more games going on to finish off the NA qualifiers.
Oh my God, it's hype. NP versus Freedom. Winner goes to TI.
A best of one.
Best of one. That is the way to do it, man.
I'm super excited for that. So if this goes to Game 3, I think that we are going to go on to the mainstream, but otherwise, it's just going to be continue to be covered on this channel here, BTS4, Lyrical Lumi, Luminous Inverse.
The Luminator.
Luminator.
That's my name. That's
the
what
Luminator is great.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, stick around. More SCA Dota in just a few. See you guys then.